Good afternoon. It is the end of the month. Technically, it's the beginning of the month because I missed the end of the month because SHOT Show travel and all that. But we are here live for the January edition of the QA by Guns and Tactics. I appreciate everybody spending a few minutes of your day with me. My name is Dave. I do appreciate it. I'm supposed to have a fancy title that comes up now, but literally, if anything could go wrong with the live streaming software today, it appears that it has been going wrong. I tried to do an update. The shop computer out here is super old Mac. It's like 10 years old. So in reality, what I think I need to do is just probably go pick up a new iMac or something for out here. That'll handle kind of the live software a little bit better. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully everything looks okay. I'm definitely, I see that a few people are watching and audio levels look good. And yeah, no comments or anything yet. So like I said, hopefully everything is good to go. But of course, if you are a Mac user, you know what the beach ball of death is, and that's all I'm getting on this streaming software. So hopefully it's still loud and clear for you guys, and we can talk about all sorts of stuff. And the joys of live is sometimes you just got to roll with it, right? So that's what it is. But we'll be taking your questions. We'll be answering emails that we've already received. If you wanted to see your question on the show, the best way is to email us. That is theqa@gunsandtactics.com. theqa@gunsandtactics.com. And Kevin, you emailed a ton, which I always appreciate the great questions. I'm just going to be up front. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, so I will probably pick some at random to kind of go through. And we can kind of connect on a few of those. As always, if you have a particularly important question, please highlight that. Otherwise, you can hop into the live stream and leave a comment, and we'll kind of go from there. So that being said, yeah, we're good to go, right? All right. Back to the cameras here. Oh, my goodness. Seriously, the joys. Also, before we get rocking and rolling, got to give a huge shout out to Global Ordnance. They are the sponsor of the episode. They're going to be giving away a prize. Lance, if you're watching, I do have your prize here. He's a local viewer, so I do have his prize from last month. And if I missed anybody, I think we are caught up. However, if not, send me an email and we'll make sure we get you caught up. And then they'll be giving away some other stuff as well for this show. Plus, while I was at SHOT Show, I did get a Geisley coupon code. So if somebody could use a Geisley coupon code, I'd be more than happy to email you a picture of that with that code. And then I do have an extra Safariland VIP card. I talked to them and I asked if I could give one away on the live stream as well. And they were both cool with that. So they do expire. Let's see. When does the Geisley one expire? The Geisley one expires the end of March, and I don't know if the VIP Safariland one expires end of the year. So if there's somebody out there who could use one of those, and if we select your number or comment at random, or if you leave a comment that you could use it, maybe for kind of a bonus for you early viewers here, I'd be more than happy to hook you guys up with one of those in addition to our regular prize from Global Ordnance. Huge thanks to them. And if you use code GTAMMO, that's GTAMMO, you can get free shipping on all orders over 200. So buy it by the case. And right now, the good news is for Californians, you can get it shipped direct as well. So that's pretty awesome. All right, we're good to go. We got some comments coming in. Appreciate Just Fly Low checking in with us. Sounds good. We got a 5x5 from the Red Wraith and Dustin tuning in. Just coffee, no kick, just a little coffee. I know, crazy. My wife is home today. Maybe I'll have her bartend. We could have a little coffee with a kick later, depending on how long this goes. But as far as like what we really probably want to talk about is SHOT Show. And I had a great time. I know I got to bring an amazing team with me, and they had a good time. We saw a lot of cool new stuff. We saw the people that we love to hang out with and catch up with, and then we learned more about even some of the products that we already knew about, which is always kind of cool to kind of get more of a deep dive into SHOT Show. Now, I can't really show you guys a ton. And a lot of people ask, like, oh, did you bring a bunch back? And in SHOT Show, you don't really buy stuff like swag. I got some new patches and stuff for the wall. But I did get a new shot timer to try out. I got one of the Kestrels. I've been having my eye on these for a while. I've played with them at matches. I've seen other people use them. So I'm really looking forward to kind of really kind of getting some hard use with this thing in the cold and the rain. But as far as a shot timer goes, these things are just overly built, really beefy. And aside from the AGM, which is what I'm currently using, before that, I would go through a shot timer, depending on how much I was traveling, either every few months or maybe like once a year. They just don't hold up in the weather, traveling, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward for a durable shot timer. And plus, I love the fact that it's bright yellow, so it doesn't get lost in the range bag. I can easily grab it. I don't know about you guys, okay? And I'm not an operator who operates operationally, but I can't think of a time that I need a shot timer to be like subdued and dark and black and multicam or anything like that. I want it bright. I prefer it to be bright green, but I want it bright so I can easily find it and it's easy for me to grab. So yeah, going from there. So let's see. We got our first question from Sean. Sean, I wonder where this comes from. The difference between a bear paw and a dog paw. I'm not exactly sure. They might even be the same. I'm kidding. All right, little quick backstory. We were talking about patches, and I could have swore that Rainier had a bear paw patch. So I even went and found it, and sure enough, it's actually a dog paw. But I looked at it, I could have swore it was a bear paw. So I even compared it to my dog. So good to go. All right, Red Wrath. Yeah. All right, Red, it's yours. All right, get ready to write down the code. This is just for Red Wrath now. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm kidding. I'll email you. Actually, Red Wrath, can you do me a favor? Email me. You can just email the QA at gunsandtactics.com. Say that, give me a screenshot of your username or whatever, and I'll send you back a picture of the code, and you're good to go. So this one is for Red Wrath. I'm writing your name on it. All yours, my friend. I'm glad you could use it. So I've heard really good stuff about their Ear Pro too. Speaking of Ear Pro, Otto. I love Otto stuff. It's a little big. It's a little bulky, but so far it has held up really well. I have a couple of sets. Now, I did kill one set, but I've killed a lot of sets at Ear Pro. Again, travel, cold, wet, all that stuff is really, really hard on Ear Pro. And the Otto overall, I still really like it. But they came out with a new headset as well at SHOT Show that I'm looking forward to getting a set to check out. Those of you guys know that pretty much in all my videos, if I'm wearing over the ear Pro right now, it's Otto. But I've heard really good stuff about the Safariland as well. Invisio, I've heard really good stuff about. And then obviously we have like the Peltor, the Sordins, and kind of some of the go-tos. But I'm going to give this new Otto set a try. And then I'm going to probably do some more stuff with comms. We'll see how that goes. And then we'll see what other stuff is out there if there's other stuff to kind of check out. So the other thing, hey, for my loyal audience here, you guys, the QA people, what do you think of the look? Okay, the last time we did this, the lights were, my fluorescent fixtures finally burnt out, the ones that I bought many, many years ago when I first started doing YouTubing, and I upgraded to LEDs, and I'm not quite sure if I have them adjusted right. Like, I'm probably going to add a little backlight for the patch wall. Maybe add a little color back there. I do have a hair light, which is the light that's right above me to kind of like, you can see how bright it is there to kind of give a little bit of the spill on the shoulder. I think that one's looking good, but the main light I think might need a little bit of a change. But like, here's what's really cool about these lights. And I know we're not talking about gun stuff, right? You're like, Dave, get on with it. But sorry, I'm going to nerd out here for just a quick sec. But when I look at all the stuff that these lights can do, it's actually pretty crazy. Now, I'm not sure if this is really going to make a difference when I'm making videos or any of that kind of crap, but I can do, all sorts of, we can make it certain colors. Ooh, we can have all these different effects. I can make it look like we're on fire. Okay, you're just like, get on with it, dude. Nobody cares. And you're right. You're right. We probably shouldn't care, right? So there's that. Oh, crap. Now I don't know how to turn it back on. There we go. Whew. Got nervous there. Okay, enough. Get back to it, Dave. All right. Got a couple of comments. Let's check it out. Red, yes, no worries, my man. Sean, yes, I like the Ottos as well. And Walker with the gel ear seals. Okay, hang on. I might have something to give away here. Time out. This is so unprofessional. I'm going to give away one more prize, too. Where did Dave go? I'm back. So I'm going to give away one prize courtesy of our friends at Noise Fighters. And Noise Fighters makes gel cups. And what's really cool about these gel cups is that they have a cutout for your eye pro. If I had my ear pro, I would show you, but basically they're great. They're a great gel cup, and you can put them in a variety of things like Sordens or Peltors or even the 3M Workforce that you get at Costco. This is where I got them. I wear them when I like mow the lawn and stuff, and they're just like a Bluetooth thing. But I take the cups off of those and I put these gel cups on. I got to hide my face because the camera's trying to look at my face. But you can see there's that channel up top for your ear pro or your eye pro in your ear pro. But these just really feel nice. So I'm going to give away a set of these. Neil, the owner of Noise Fighter, gave me a few to give away to my students at classes. So I've given away some sets there, but I have one more, and I don't think he'd mind if I gave it away to one of you guys. So we'll pick out a prize winner for this a little bit later, and we'll kind of go from there. So, all right. Jerry says, I have too many toys. Really? Like what, man? I don't have toys at all. No, I'm very blessed. I really am. We'll see how it is. But all right. Oh, Ike says I could be a little warmer. I agree. It is a little pale. So let's see what I am here. Oh, geez. Now I'm getting angry. Is that good, Ike? All right. What are we at here? That's about, according to the app, that's like at 47 Kelvin. I don't know how it looks on your screen. I think my white balance is set up for natural white, like 5,600 or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it looks once we play around with it a little bit more. All right, let's answer a question here. Newbie red dot user here, so forgive the element. Dude, Jason, you don't ever have to worry about that with me. Like, I joke around. I like to have fun. And some people have even called me like a know-it-all. And I really kind of take heart to that because I really am trying to share knowledge. But nobody ever has to apologize with asking a new question for me. I'm always willing to share knowledge and always want to help people out because I am 100% a believer of helping everybody learn. And actually, my training company is called Learning Firearms because I just want to help people learn. And it's all about learning and creating that environment. So, all right, no apologies, okay? No needed. I bought a torque wrench and some 243. 243, way to go. SCS, how much Loctite is needed? That's a great question. I do, in my red dots setup video, I do show kind of how much, but for lack of a better term, let's just pretend, and I know this is apart from my old grill, but if these were the threads, so hopefully it's a little easier to see, I just basically take a little bit of the Loctite and I kind of spread it so it's basically covering maybe like 2 to 3 threads, give or take, and it's not dripping or running or anything like that because that will disperse on the threads. So you don't need a ton. Now, the other thing that I do with my red dots, and I know this is a little controversial, but on the taper, so the screw head has a taper and then the shaft here, I will put just a very, very small smearing, technical term, of thread locker on the taper. And the reason why I do that is, number one, degrease everything, okay? But number two, in case this taper on the optic is 89.7 degrees and the screw is 90.3 and there's a little bit of a gap, because ideally a taper should kind of taper fit and pull everything in together. But what that thread locking compound can do is kind of bed those tapers together and kind of glue them together. Now, some people used to use paint and things like that, but I just use a little goes a long way, because basically when those contact surfaces come together, all I want to do is kind of glue those tapers together with the thread locker. Now, too much and you're gluing your screws in and it makes removal very difficult, but I'm just trying to seal that area so water and crud and everything like that doesn't run down into those mounting screws. But you don't need a whole lot. I can try to do a short video on that as well, now that I've got some time from SHOT Show, and then we can kind of see, what that looks like. So, all right, maybe 4,800. Oh, now you are getting picky, Ike. All right, there you go. 49.50 is what the closest I could get with my quick phone. Let's see here. So I hope that helps, Jason. Great question. Feel free to comment below if you have any more questions. This is a live show. We can interact. LJ, have you used any in the earbuds that worked good? Yes, the Autos. They're not cheap, but the Auto noise barriers, they come in a little brown case. And I think they're still as far as sound goes, probably the best sound that I have used, and I like it because you can put them in the case and everything. But in some ways, the design is getting a little dated. Like, I wish it was USB-C. I wish you could charge them with a Qi, I think that's how you pronounce it, charger. And I don't really care as much about the Bluetooth. Some people complain that they wish there was a Bluetooth version, but for me, when I put them in my ears, they're super comfortable. I do have a video on those. If you search on the channel for auto noise barrier, they're the little brown case, and I use the Comply foam tips, I think is what it's called. Makes all the difference in the world. Like those Comply tips, you can squish them, stick them in your ear. They mold, like they fill in and mold kind of to your canal. Super comfortable. I've worn them all day. Sometimes I even double up if I'm like on an indoor range shooting rifles, but those work great. And then 3M did have a set of in-ear Ear Pro at SHOT Show that I do want to check out. And it's, again, not fancy, so no Bluetooth or anything like that. And they say that the sound quality is better. So I'm going to see if I can pick up a set to kind of try out, and then we'll kind of go from there. So yeah, I think it's a really, really good solution, though, because there's times when I like it, especially even in the winter. Sometimes in the winter, it's easier for me to wear the in-ear buds, and then I could put a hat over it versus having the bulky headset. So something to consider there. Great question. How do you think the new Staccato C will compare to the C2? So I shot the C. I did do a video, and I do really like the C. I do want to get one and shoot it like side by side to the C2, because I think that is what everybody is kind of waiting for in a comparison. It does shoot a little bit better than the CS, at least I thought. Well, I like my CS. It's my carry gun. I'd show it to you, but it's live and they don't allow that. But I'm carrying it in a QVO tactical holster, and I appreciate Roger for sending that out. The CS is still a great shooting little pistol, right? The CS shot, in my opinion, what I felt like was a little flatter. However, I will caveat with this. The C, the new C, even though the old C is a single stack. So Staccato, I love you guys, but why did you reuse that naming thing? Like, it just makes it awkward, right? So I think they could have come up with a better name. But anyways, the C that I shot at their range event had the full-size grip. So I was able to get more grip on it and a little more leverage. So I do think that's a fair point to make, because obviously with a bigger grip, you're going to be able to get more control and more leverage. So I'm interested to see what it feels like with the C2 and kind of comparing those like side by side, like pick one up, pick up the other one. So as soon as I get one, I will certainly make a video. But the new C, for those of you guys that don't know, their new magazine tube, okay, that was first debuted in the CS. It's called the V3, version 3, but V3. That is going to be the future moving forward. They are already making 18-round magazines for it, for this new C model. When I was talking to them at the range event, they want to come out with 20-round length as well. So we're going to see more firearms that are focused around that V3 pattern, and that's going to be, in my opinion, some feature things moving forward. Now, other features, the dust cover and frame aesthetic on the C and the CS, I think we're going to see that moving forward on bigger guns, and then also the grip, I think we're going to see that moving forward, and there's going to be a bigger grip module, longer slides, things like that. And then also the different frames. So right now they're just aluminum, but I have a feeling in the future there's going to be a steel version, but that V3 format is going to be the future. I don't think the current 2011s as we know them are going away anytime soon, but that magazine tube is really optimized for 9mm rounds. Plus, we have the other upgrades that they've made: recoil system, external extractor, some of the barrel lockup. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with those new guns. I really, really do like that. All right. Perfect. Good questions. Good questions. All right. D-Tom American, part maintenance round count. Great question. So as far as the round count intervals, basically what I would do is about every 1,000 rounds or so. Now, doesn't have to be 1,000. If I go to a class and we shoot 2,000 rounds, all I do for that whole class is I just lube the gun. Okay, period. Move on. But after that 2,000 round class, I will wipe off the carrier maybe and just make sure everything's looking good, and I will check the buffer spring. Buffer spring, we do want to check for compression. However, on some of my rifles, I use the JP Silent Captured Spring System, and I think that's probably one of the best upgrades you can ever make to your AR, other than a good trigger. Good trigger, JP Silent Captured Spring System. Those are awesome upgrades that anybody should make to their AR. But as far as other stuff, I would say then I would every now and again, maybe around 4,000 to 5,000 rounds, I want to look at the extractor, spring, insert, and O-ring, and I might just do that out of good maintenance. But as far as other stuff like the Gas rings, I'll do the bolt carry test if I'll wipe everything down and if it compresses on its own weight. I do have a video, man. I had a AR function check video. I can't remember if it's on the Learning Firearms channel or Guns and Tactics, but I will forget to probably put that in the show notes when I'm done, but I'll try to remember. And then otherwise you can search for function checks, AR-15 function checks, and I do have a video on that somewhere. If maybe if somebody wants to find it, leave a comment. You're a rock star. So as far as other parts, we're always going to check for bolt, carrier, kind of general wear, fit, finish, things like that. Other stuff like small parts, the AR does really good for high round count overall. Like keep it lubricated. You don't have to keep it clean, but keep it lubricated, and that thing will run pretty good. The stuff that you're replacing often are going to be O-rings, extractor springs. That's like, I would say, the most common, but otherwise, buffer spring's not a bad thing either. I feel like I am forgetting something. Gas tubes can wear out eventually, but we're talking like 10,000 plus rounds unless there's an issue with your gas key where it kind of wears it down a little bit or you start to have some issues. But yeah, as far as other wear stuff, I think that's the main kind of stuff that I used to keep around when I used to travel. Maybe a firing pin every now and again, something would go bad with a firing pin, but ejectors are pretty durable on that system. Same thing with bolts, all that kind of stuff. So good question. Really good question. It's got me thinking maybe we could do more content on the AR. Lately, it's been so much more handgun focused that I would like to do some more rifle stuff. All right. Did you get a chance to shoot in Walthers? No, I didn't. I really didn't. Now, I'm not saying I dislike Walther, so I want to preface with that. But when some of the PDPs came out and I did shoot some of the polymer guns and stuff, I personally was just kind of like, they're nice, but they're not nice enough to get me to switch to them from any other platform per se. Like there's things I like about it. The ergonomics are really good, but recoil I didn't love. Trigger was nice, but like I said, just overall, they were very nice, but not to the point where it's like, man, I have to sell my Glocks and do this. Now, if I was starting from scratch, might be a different story, right? But that was just kind of my opinion, and I know everybody has their own opinion, and some people disagreed with me, but I don't know. So I really do want to shoot one of the steel guns to see how they shoot and feel, and obviously Walther does make really, really nice stuff. But yeah, I do want to shoot one of those steel guns. All right, how would I compare the Platypus to the P in terms of quality, feel, trigger, slide, etc.? They are so close. The Platypus, honestly, is a sleeper. And now I don't even know if that's true anymore because their back order is so long. But Platypus is doing some really, really good stuff, especially for the money. And their main goal of being direct to consumer, I think, helps take some of the margin out. Now, Staccato makes a great pistol. They are both very nice. It's really, in some ways, like comparing Ford to Chevy. They each have their own features that are really good and really nice. But the Platypus is right up there. Now, some people will say the grip feels a little different. Like what I talked about in my review video is that the Platypus definitely does have a little bit different of a feel. It's not better or worse, but it is different, right? And a lot of people were, of course, like, oh, it's a 1911 grip angle. Glock, it's totally 1911 grip angle. And their new texture felt really good. At SHOT Show, they came out with the aggressive texture and their bull barrel, and those things felt awesome. Like, that's what I would order right now for a range gun. Now, if you're going to carry it, you can get the smoother texture, but I would for sure 100% get that new aggressive texture without a doubt. Like that thing was just really nice feeling in the hand. So that's what I would order. And then their bull barrel is always it's a good upgrade. I like bull barrels a lot. But as far as overall quality, slide to frame fit, things like that, they both feel really good. My Platypus is tight. Like that thing, and I hope they're all like that, right? It's not just my sample of one, but my Platypus, that thing just shot like a laser beam. And Dustin, who's in the chat here somewhere, he can attest. Oh my gosh, Dustin, I am tempted. I need you to comment on that one Trolls thing where he was telling me, oh, what was it? He was telling me like there's no way I shot that group at 25 yards. He's like, you mean 25 feet? And I was like, no. But I shot that Platypus so well that it's one of my favorite pistols. Like I would buy a new Platypus with all those features rather than get rid of mine and get another one because this one shoots so well. Even the I don't know, Tim, the founder of Platypus, him and I were talking. He's like, well, yeah, if you want to check out that new texture, maybe you could, trade yours in and we could swap it out or whatever. But the way that mine shoots, it's such a freaking laser beam. I don't want to trade it in at all. So, all right. I probably went way too long on that. Sorry about that, man. All right. Would you be concerned with the new PSA Dagger saber pistol that comes with an aftermarket trigger. I don't know. I've not shot a dagger, so I've been hearing more and more good things about Palmetto lately, and they were making quite the buzz at SHOT Show. So one of the things is we've never necessarily associated that brand with like super high end, super high quality stuff, right? And that's okay. Like there needs to be good, better, and best in every market. I'm a firm believer in that. So when I started to hear all the buzz and some of the innovative things that they are coming out with, I got to admit I'm a little skeptical, surprised, but I'm also optimistic and excited to see new stuff coming out. But would I be concerned? I don't know. I would just take it to a class if you could, try to get some time with it to see if it earns your trust with showing that it's reliable. But I don't know. Personally, I'm not going to carry one. Like I have Glocks, I have Staccatos, I have whatever. So I'm not going to go out and buy one and carry it because that's not the right tool for me. But that's just my opinion. But if that's what you got, shoot it, man. Get a few hundred rounds, go to the range, run some drills, take it to a class ideally so you can kind of get a different volume and kind of run it through some different things. And then ultimately let it earn your confidence before you carry it. And obviously, anytime you add anything to any firearm, you should test it. Whether it's a trigger, whether it's sighting system, whether it's even a flashlight, you want to make sure that that thing runs as it should because sometimes issues come up. All right. Do I have a favorite muzzle brake for 3-gun? Not worried about recoil, just trying to keep it flat. If it's just for 3-gun, one of my favorites is the JP 3-port comp. It's really kind of big and does a great job. The Lantac Dragon also does a really nice job with controlling recoil. Those are the two that I've used recently on my current 3-gun rifle. And I say that with quotes. I built this rifle up. It shoots super flat. I think I shot 1 or 2 local matches with it, but I've not shot in a 3-gun match for a while. I'd like to do a 2-gun match with it or get back into the PCSL because some of the 2-gun stuff looks really fun. But that's what I'm running on that right now, and that thing shoots super flat with the JP 3-port comp. Otherwise, I had a Dragon on before that, so I like that stuff. But those would be what I would definitely look at. Link to the function check. Did you find it, Sean? Or did you... Yeah, I don't know. Oh my goodness, UW177. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say your real name, but what a nice surprise to see you. And you know what? Right back at you. Right back at you. I think you're one heck of a sexy beast. Are you sad you didn't go to SHOT Show? Sure missed having you around. And you know, I have all of this to thank to you. So you know what I'm talking about. UW177 and I go way back. Way back. And I don't know if he really wants me to get into the story, but I do owe a lot to him. True story. And can confirm he was holding the camera. That's right. All right, I think we're caught up on comments. Let me go ahead and check in with emails here quick. I do have a bunch of emails from Kevin. I do want to get to a few of them. And, oh yeah, Sean, if the link is posted, great. It doesn't come through on my broadcast end software, but if it comes through on that end, I super appreciate it. All right, Kevin, you sent a lot of questions in. I know I'm not going to be able to get to them all. And I am trying to see if maybe even other people sent some questions in as well. I want to make sure I get to as many people as I can. And then as far as other SHOT Show stuff, while I'm pulling up these questions, a lot of people always ask me, like, what was the coolest thing you saw? What was the coolest thing you saw? And I'm trying to think of the absolute coolest thing. But while I think about that, I did get the green light from UW1 to share the story. So here's the short version, because those of you guys that know me know that I love to talk. And I hope your kidney stone is doing okay. So that sounds like it sucks. I'm not going to lie. But when I was doing Learning Firearms, my old channel, and we had about 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers at the time, very small. But I was looking for sponsors. I just left working for a huge sporting goods chain in the Midwest. And I, again, had great experience doing that. But I was looking to expand to something a little bit more in the firearms space as far as like maybe a partnership or a sponsor or advertiser, something like that. And I was posting my videos on Weapon Evolution Forum, which is UW1's forum. And I think we messaged a couple times where he gave a comment like, hey, great video, or I like this, or something like that. And he's very critical, by the way. Yes, you are. You're very critical. You're not afraid to share if you don't like something. So anyways, I kind of got the idea that he was connected to Rainier and reached out. And I just said, look, I'd like to connect with Rainier if you could. And he's like, look, write an email, make sure it reads in no more than 5 minutes, and I'll make sure the owner reads it, but that's it. That's all the promises I'm going to make. So he forwards my email, me basically saying, hey, I'd like to partner with you and looking to grow my channel and looking for maybe an advertiser, blah, blah, blah. And the owner calls me out of the blue like 3 months later and basically told me that he likes my content, but not interested in learning firearms. But he did have this little channel called Guns and Tactics. And sure enough, Guns and Tactics was at about like 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, but they had a little bit larger of a Facebook page. And he's like, if you wanted to come over and work at Guns and Tactics and make content there and kind of grow it, I would love to support you and go from there. And I did. I started making all my videos on Guns and Tactics, and I grew the channel to what it is now and the support. And we've grown now the Facebook page, and for a while, I was even doing it full time, and then I got moved over to another kind of gig within his umbrella of things. And now I get to do it part time, which I still love it. This is probably my favorite thing. But yeah. So, and to be honest, I do miss it. I do miss LE. So there are definitely times when I really still miss it. And primarily it's the guys, like a lot of times they say like, you don't miss the circus, but you miss the clowns. And I definitely miss my clowns, A-team, if you're watching, but I miss a lot of the other dudes that I've worked with. And honestly, I miss some of the job. I miss some of the effectiveness. Like when you're good at something, whether it's whatever craft you're into, your profession, and you know that you can go to a situation and likely be effective and help people and do whatever, that's a very rewarding feeling. And I took great pride in that. And whether it was a crisis, whether it was a emergency of some type, or whether it was just a simple contact, I like knowing that I would generally make a positive impact or try to leave a situation better than what I came in. And not every time, right? That's just the nature of the job with the job, but I really like that and I miss that. So yeah. So that's a little bit about my story. So we're kind of getting I'm letting my hair down on this episode of the QA. I feel like this is like the just chilling, which is a little different, right? We thought we'd be talking about SHOT Show. Anyways, all right, Red Wrath, I got your email. Perfect. Appreciate that. You're going to be right at the top. Now, as far as QA questions, I don't even know where to start, Kevin. I really don't. Let's see here. When was the last time we did a QA? So I want to make sure I go back to that. And what are some good examples to use in classes to do anything but shoot someone whenever pragmatically possible, either as a citizen or law enforcement? I don't know if you're meaning like, and I haven't gone through every word here because it's, several paragraphs, but I use the red cert guns a lot. Airsoft is another option that people use, or UTM, which is a whole nother controversy now because the ATF kind of really helped us out with that on the civilian side. But the cert guns or red guns are probably what I use the most, because what I like about the cert gun is that I can not only, use that safely, it shoots out a laser beam, but then I can also get students to move into the opposite perspective safely. And then they can also see exactly like what your aiming limitations are, your accuracy limitations, or if someone says like, hey, I could actually make that hit from this position, I could actually prove it because I can put the dot on the target, the laser, and all that kind of stuff. So using things like that. Other questions. What are your thoughts on the dogma of dropping or throwing spent magazines on the ground when reloading? I personally drop magazines on the ground unless it's a tactical reload. So like when I teach, you teach basically two schools of thought and everybody has their own little spiel on it, but reload when you want to, reload when you have to, right? When you have to, if that magazine is slide locked back or bolt locked back, magazine goes on the ground. Who's going to pick it up? A crime scene technician, right? Let's be realistic. My reality in the domestic United States, either when I was a cop or as a citizen, a crime scene technician is going to pick up that magazine. That's just who it's going to be, right? Now, you can insert whatever zombie apocalypse fantasy and you want, Red Dawn, where then maybe you have to retain that. But you know what? If that situation has happened, I'd probably make a lot of other mindset adjustments to affect a lot of other things going on, okay? But for me, my reality, like probably many of you, a crime scene tech is going to pick up that magazine so they can pick it up. Now, if it's a retention thing where I really do want to do a reload when I want to and I'm worried about that, sure, I can retain it. But when I do matches and stuff like that, I don't do IDPA just because I think some of their stuff is unrealistic, including like dropping magazines and all that. So I just say like train like you play, and I'm going to drop magazines when they need to be dropped, and I can pick them up later. So that's kind of my spiel. Some of the police assignments require the police officers to get matching tattoos. I think I saw that in a movie once, right? I have never heard of that. I'm sure some do, but for my reality, I know some cops that do have some tattoos and stuff, but I never have seen that. So maybe I'm not in the cool guy circles. So can't really relate to that one. Does it make sense to reholster while looking? And when does it make sense to reholster without looking? Great question. For the majority of people, nobody is probably ever going to be in a hurry to reholster. So if you take your pistol out in a self-defense situation, it's probably going to be because you need to use it or are going to use it. A police officer is different. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Or an armed professional. Maybe you're doing some sort of security, whatever. But for the majority of people, there's probably never going to be a hurry to reholster. There could be. I'm not saying that there's never. But for the majority of situations and people and what we see from video after video after video of good guy with a gun, it's generally going to be threats eliminated, and then you will have the time to either look and reholster, or you're going to hold that person waiting for the police to get there, etc. Now, for a police officer, there are times when you all of a sudden have to transition from potential threat to I got to go hands-on, and you should be proficient with holstering, sometimes without looking. Is it a safe practice to quick glance? Yes. And you're better off doing that than really struggling and doing all this other stuff. But there might be a situation where I need to get that gun retained right now because I have to go hands-on. So different strokes for different folks, different, contexts. And then for appendix carry, especially, I will take a caution and I will look, just to make sure, because obviously, right? Appendix carry, we all get it. Okay. So we need to be aware of that and have good technique with that. All right. So that's some of Kevin's questions. Let's see. One more from Kevin here. What do you think about digital night and or digital thermal as the new technology? I think the technology is going to be here. Obviously, thermal is digital, but some of the new digital night vision is not here yet. But I think it's going to be. Like, I really think that technology is going to start to catch up, and it's going to be pretty amazing where it really, I don't know, it has the potential, right? I mean, look at what we're seeing with augmented reality stuff, like the Metas and the Vision Pros and all that stuff. And imagine if we start to incorporate some of that evolution with night vision. Like, I think in 5 years, digital night vision is going to be so much more evolved that it's going to be hard to ignore. And then people are going to really be considering, okay, analog that does have a shelf life, that does have risk if it's exposed to light, there's ITAR, all this stuff, and digital, which is basically just a camera. I don't know. I think there's going to be some really, really, really potential stuff going on there. All right. Dude, send them on over. I got you covered, or XDs or whatever. I can take care of you for sure. How do I like the platypus compared to the P? I think we talked about that already, so you must be tuning in a little late. But I really like the platypus. Like, Staccato P is one of my favorite pistols still. One of my favorite pistols is the Staccato P. It's just an absolute fine quality production gun. And mine, I have 3 Staccato Ps, okay? And they all run absolutely amazing. So I have nothing but good things to say about the Staccato P. What I love about the platypus is it takes cheap, readily available Glock magazines. It shoots like a laser beam. They're super accurate, and they are cheaper. So it's tough to ignore all of that. Again, we're kind of talking Ford versus Chevy versus, whatever. But it's tough. But I love the platypus. Like, if I was starting from scratch and all I had was Glocks, it is a no-brainer to get a platypus. You already have a bunch of magazines. They're cheap, they're readily available, and if you want to get into a single action gun with a straight back 1911 style fire control group, like, it's a no-brainer. Like, platypus is awesome. Now, if you really want a 2011, Staccato P is arguably one of the best bang for buck. If you're looking for something even a little nicer, the Voodoo Priest packs above its price point. Like, the Voodoo Priest seriously feels more like an Atlas gun than it does anything else. And with that, they have a new ported version that they announced at SHOT Show, a 5-inch ported with top ports. And then they also have a 4 1/4, a commander gun, and they also have that ported. But what Voodoo is doing as far as their slide to frame fit, their lockup, their machining, those guns, just, man, I need a hipster to give me a really cool thing. Like, okay, what is the hipster opposite term of dog water. I know dog water is bad. So like glow, is that the term I'm supposed to use? Like, does it glow? I don't know. I'm kind of out of the loop here. I try to keep up with my kids, but the voodoo priests order them now because they're going to continue to get more and more backlogged. Like they are legit. All right. That was way too long. I got way too distracted. All right. Most innovative firearm. Man. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Here's what, no, trash or booty. I don't believe you. I don't think that's right. I'd like to see some Urban Dictionary confirmation. Okay. Getting back to this though. Okay. That's booty. All right. Sean says that's booty is what I'm supposed to be using for the term. Okay. Most innovative firearm. Okay. That's tough. That's tough because there wasn't one thing that was like, this is completely revolutionary as far as like the standout, like how has nobody ever thought of this, right? So I'm going to kind of take a little bit of a cop out and say, here's what cool guns I did see that I liked and what I liked about them. And I'll try to make it relatively quick because I know we're already even coming up on almost an hour. But I feel embarrassed saying this. This hurts me a little bit. Like I feel a little FUD-like. And Sean, I blame you. But Henry, yep, that Henry, okay, came out with a lever action gun that takes AR magazines. And it actually even has a rotating bolt like an AR in there. So it actually felt really good. There was another company that made a lever gun that took AR magazines, but the action was not nearly as smooth. I think I remember the name, but I'm not certain, so I'm not going to say it. You Google it, you can find it. But it definitely is not, it was not as smooth as the Henry. The Henry felt like a Henry, okay? Like when Henry is on point, and I know they've had some quality control issues, but that thing felt really good. And why I like it is I want to get a 300 blackout version, SBR it, and now I have a nice short lever gun and suppressed and takes AR magazines. Plus it's 50 state legal. Well, maybe not if you SBR it, but right now it's 50 state legal. So that was a pretty cool gun. Is it innovative? No, someone just figured out like, hey, we should do this and do this. Kind of like how Stealth Arms with the Platypus was like, what if we took a 1911 that made Glock mags work? You know, that would be pretty awesome. So there's that one. I like that. The Nemo Mongoose, as far as a PCC, looked like a very elegant, nice, high-end PCC. It has a tilting barrel. They're saying that it reduces recoil. I'm a little skeptical. I'm not going to lie, and I would tell Nemo this as well because the last tilting barrel PCC I saw was the LWRC SMG, and that thing ran not so good for me. Yeah, not so good. So... But I'm optimistic that the Mongoose, if that thing runs for a nice little quiet suppressed PCC, that would be pretty cool. Again, I'm embarrassed to think that I would be super excited about this, but the buzz of the show was the PSA MP7 5.7 based on their rock pistol. Most people that I talk to, when I'd say, hey, what's cool? What have you heard about? What are people talking about? That came up in most conversations is that PSA MP7. And I did a short on this. And if you guys aren't tracking all my SHOT Show coverage and TriggerCon coverage or NRA coverage, it's all shorts now. Nobody wants the long format. At least it seems like on my channel. I know James at TFB TV Showtime does well, Milspec Monkey and those dudes. But for me, most people, I get way more views on the shorts. So if you're not subscribed on YouTube, Facebook, all of the shorts, and you can just, keep scrolling, but that's where I uploaded everything. And usually I do 40 to 50 videos from SHOT or whatever event. So there's a lot of stuff and they're all 1 minute each. So you can kind of, consume them at your leisure. But, all right, where was I? That MP7 Global Ordnance came out with their monolith. And it's at first glance, it looks like an AR, kind of like the FM15 stuff. But when you look at how they machined the lower with the stock, that's pretty cool. They're saying it's a folding receiver, not a folding stock, so they might be able to get into other states, which I think, hey, that's kind of cool if you're figuring out ways to get around certain legislation, unconstitutional legislation. But what's really neat about that one is that the barrel is all monolithic. It's one piece. So they have the barrel blank, and they machine in the barrel extension, the barrel, the gas block, the muzzle device. It's all out of one chunk of metal. And what's really cool is that there are some states where you can't have a threaded barrel, but you can have a suppressor. Well, if you can't have a threaded barrel anymore, but you can own suppressors, like how do you make the two work? Well, this is a solution for that because it has the muzzle device machined into the barrel. It's not threaded. So that's kind of cool. Supposedly they're going to shoot really well. It has a reduced size gas port. So I thought the Global Ordnance, and again, I know they're my sponsor. Okay, so take that with a grain of salt, but I really did think the rifle was cool. So we have that. We have, man, I'm forgetting some stuff here, guys. You have to help me out in the comments on what you've seen, because I forgot my notes downstairs and I don't want to run down and get them. But otherwise, most innovative guns. Jeez. Oh, I feel bad now. That's the PSA shotgun. I thought had some really cool stuff. Other new stuff. Man, I think that might have been it. I might have been the main stuff. So I don't know. I'll check my notes if whatever I have written down here on the notes app. But Christensen had a new rimfire gun that looked cool, but again, it wasn't super innovative. Okay, Philip, I feel like I've probably gone way over, and maybe you've tuned off by now with my rambling. Oh my gosh, the PWS UXR. Thank you. This is why, yeah, Sean, employee of the week. You get the parking spot. The PWS UXR. Let's talk about that, because I was at a media event in May where we got to shoot the PWS and see it unveiled. At the time, it was a super prototype gun. They did not have parts in final production. They still had, like, some parts of it were very, very early, but we got to see the concept, and we got to see what was going on as far as interchangeability between the magwell, the trunnions, and all that stuff, like of how it came together. I was pretty optimistic and interested in that. Now, we were not allowed to talk about it until SHOT Show, and we got to shoot it, we got to experience it, and it was very, very early. So, yeah, but the UXR, I think, arguably was probably the most innovative gun at SHOT Show. That would probably have to take the cake, because it's something completely new where you can go from small frame AR to large frame AR to AK pattern mag by just swapping out a magwell and then having, a barrel system that you can interchange as well. So the UXR, I'm supposed to get a production sample here for review in the next few weeks, months maybe, and then I'll definitely be doing some more content about that, and then I can release some of the footage, things like that we got to kind of see. But what was cool for basically, a quote unquote battle rifle is at the media event is we had a 308. They took the barrel off, put it on, we fired. Took the barrel off, on, fired, on, off, fired, and it was shooting within that right around a minute, which again, for a quick change system, that's pretty respectable for a large frame AR type rifle, right? So that was pretty cool. I will say that was probably, I have to give kudos to the most innovative gun there, just because there's so much going on with that. Now, is it going to be right for everybody? Is someone going to prefer that over an AR? These are all good questions, right? But is it going to be the new ACR or the new next modular type rifle? That's what they're going for. So got to give props to them, because it's been a project long time in the works. The boombox, yes, the 8.6 boombox. Now, it is cool. I got to play with it, but I didn't get to shoot it. I was at a different range event. And obviously it's kind of like a larger honey badger, right? And I'm really excited for the 8.6. Now that it got SAMI approved and there's going to be more ammo and stuff coming out, I'm really curious on what that comes out. So I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see here. Hey man, thanks for sticking with me. I do appreciate it. All right. DeGraw, great to see some new stuff coming out at Stealth. Yes. The bull barrels, the aggressive texture, all good stuff. And now they're also in 45 and 10 millimeter. So large frame Glock magazines as well. So I absolutely love the dudes at Stealth. Please, if you guys order a Stealth, can you do me a favor and just tell them that you saw the video or heard about it from Dave? It just, it helps me out when I'm trying to make relationships and when we're trying to get media samples for guns and things like that. And it just helps build relationships to show that it was a good investment of theirs to allow me to make a video with their product and that kind of thing. Because believe it or not, I'm not making millions of dollars doing this. Maybe someday. And if I start my OnlyMans channel, maybe I can do that. I hear feet pics are really popular right now, but I do need all the help I can get with getting stuff. So if you do make an order and it was influenced by me, if you can just let them know, I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me. All right, let's take a look here. I just acquired a Walther PDP with a 507 comp. What's the best yard zero? Honestly, 10 yards is probably going to do you just fine. If you have the discretion enough to shoot really good groups at discretion, I don't think is the right term. Anyways, if you have the discipline to shoot really tight groups at 25, rock on, 0 at 25. But for most people, man, just go to 10-yard 0. I do have a video in the works on 10 versus 25 and all that stuff. So, but anyways, 10-yard 0. And I do have a how to 0 video. If you search how to 0 your red dot, there's a one with like a white and black box target or whatever. That's my video. Check it out. It goes through the whole process. They're really good. But I do want to do one where we do ballistics and we shoot at 10 and 25 and all that stuff. No thoughts on Strike. I'm not familiar with their armor and helmets. Yeah, I think that's a whole nother topic to go down on. Hang on. This just in from Scott. We got a $2 super chat. This cup of coffee is on Scott. Thanks, my man. What trigger do you recommend for a 9mm arrow PCC? How much do you want to spend? Okay, that's the first question. What's your budget on a trigger? So I need to know that first. Then we'll come back at you. All right. Being a staccato fan, how did the C shoot? We already talked about this, King Dingaling. And it shot really good. I felt like it shot better than my staccato CS. It shot closer to like a C2 or P. And one of the other questions that came up was how is it compared to a C2? And as soon as I get one, I'm hoping to get one sooner than later. I'm going to literally have a whole staccato lineup. Maybe we compare them all. So it shot very nice, but it was with the full size grip, but I really did like the C. Now, if I were me, not a big staccato nerd as I am, but if I were me and I already had a C2 or a P or a CS, is there an urgency to buy one? Maybe not. Okay. But if I was coming in, that's probably what I would buy because you can swap it from a 16 round grip to an 18 round grip and all that. Now, I'm also curious to see because it's a 3.9 inch barrel on the CS versus a 4 on the C, and I'm really curious to see where that expands to in the future. All right. So we got that one. What did I think of dude? I love the Voodoo handguns. The Voodoo Priest is what I'm assuming you're talking about. Man, like I was saying before, those things are legit. That feels closer to an Atlas than it does anything else for a production gun, and especially they're in the low to mid 3G figures, and their prices, I have a feeling, are probably going to go up a little bit, just like everything in the industry with production time and materials, but they are going to offer a heck of a value for the money. Love those guns. They're good people, but that's like, if you pick that gun up, you are going to be impressed. Like, I have not come across one yet that didn't immediately have that nice quality feel to it. So definitely pick that up. And Dave makes tens of dollars, and that's pretty much exactly what it is, tens of dollars. All right. Hello, everybody. I have the Decision in 9mm. Yep. All right. 0, a laser. Part of the laser is going to depend on your offset. So what distance do I recommend that? Again, 10 yards isn't bad because it's going to be a parallel, right? There's going to be a little bit of offset. So part of it's going to depend if you are going to be aware of that. But when I used to have a laser, and when I only got it because, shield and gas mask type stuff or whatever, this was way back in the day. But I zeroed my laser at the time at 25 yards on a rest, just because I knew from 0 to 25, it was going to have a very minimal point of aim, point of impact difference. So that's what I did. But part of it would depend as well. So you'd probably be fine with either one, depending on if you have a rest or you can get stable. Okay, Scott, back to your question. No limit on price. $250 or less. You could look at I think Hyperfire makes one for a PCC. Hyperfire would be good. Rise would be good. I don't know if Blackout Defense makes a 9mm rated one or not. I'd have to double check. I think they do. But yeah, like Rise Armament, theirs have felt good. Hyperfire has felt good. You can get a Geisley for that if they have some. I'm trying to think. Those are lately have been, those are, and he said it's not going in a or don't need a 1.5. It's going in a bump in the night gun. Yeah, you're not going to go wrong with any of the quality brands. Geisley, Hyperfire, those would be the two that I'd look at right off the bat. Heck, you could even get a Schmid 2-stage. And there's a lot of people that white label those or OEM for those, and they're going to be less than $100. And those are great 2-stage triggers. There's a lot of guns that are using those OEM. Those are great. What else am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting a trigger that I go to a lot. Okay, so yeah, if Geisley is not rated in the AR9, which I couldn't remember if they had a PCC version, which that sounds right. I believe Hyperfire does, and I believe Blackout, Rise, the Schmid might be. I think that's the main stuff for PCCs. So yeah, otherwise you could also, I don't know if Trigger Tech has a PCC trigger or not, but I would also look at Trigger Tech as well. Great questions. Okay, we're caught up on questions, comments. Now, here's the other thing. Is anybody, let's see here. Oh, I forgot one. Sorry, Amani. Is the new 5.7 and the new Glock 50 cal? I have not seen the Glock 50 cal. I'll have to do some digging on that. And the new 5.7. Now here's the other thing. I'm not a huge 5.7 cartridge guy. I realize it's popular and it's, available and things like that, but it's not my favorite cartridge. Like, I don't own a PS90 or any of that kind of stuff, but it's available. And I think for range stuff, it might definitely be, something to get, because I think it's more common than like a true MP7 and 4.6 by 30, which you can't find that ammo anywhere. So at least with 5.7, you can find it. I wish it would just come with 9mm. I mean, most of us, we're just having fun with this at the range. There's a bunch of quality 9mm available. Let's just do that. I mean, why reinvent the wheel? All right. I attended SHOT for the first time, and it was overwhelming. I get it, man. I get it. And it goes on and on and on for hours. Like, it is crazy how it is. Any insight on the fight? No, I heard about it, but I have not gotten any industry. Hey, do you remember at TriggerCon one year, there was another little after hours brawl where I think it sent a dude to a hospital. Wasn't that at the car place? I think it was at, I want to say it was at the car party or whatever it was. And I'm not a car guy, so I couldn't tell you much about it. I just know there was a bunch of fancy cars there, but I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk about that. I don't know. I'll have to check my contract. All right, what other comments did I miss here? Otherwise, I can check in with emails to make sure that we're caught up on that, and whatever other questions you guys have. All right, sometimes what's cool from SHOT Show isn't new. Yes. Oh my gosh. So here's the deal. I stopped by, and I love the dudes at CZ and Dan Wesson, but it's like DWX, pistol optics, DWX, pistol optics. My guys, where are we at here? So coming, they know, but we'll see. All right, are we caught up? Thank you. Yes. CMC makes a PCC trigger. Yeah, CMC, and CMC is a cartridge trigger as well. So I haven't shot a CMC trigger in a long time. I will have to maybe revisit those. Although what's funny, oh my gosh, now I'm dating myself again. I don't know if they still use my videos, but back in the day, I actually did the install videos for CMC. So if you go to their webpage, and I haven't been there in a while, but if you go to their webpage, you might see my ugly mug on this here desk teaching you how to install that good old trigger in either your, what did I do? I want to say I did AR, Remington 700, as well as their Glock one. I did their install videos. So that's a little bit about me too, dudes. I do some video production for the industry, not just this kind of stuff, but I do, man. Oh my gosh. It's one of those days. I do offer services of install and technical videos for the industry, and they were a client, and it's been several years since I've done work with them, but yeah. No, my gosh, the Archon. Tell me more about that. I did not check that out. I did not stop by PTR. Is it a PCC or a pistol, or what is PTR making? PTR makes a lot of HK stuff, which is pretty nice. So I'd be curious what they made. All right, let me check back in with Kevin's questions. Let's go back to Kevin's Corner. All right, or anybody else that may have emailed me, for example. Sling setup philosophy. What criteria is determined whether someone should use a 2-point, 1.5, or a single point? I did a video on 2-point versus 1-point slings. You can check that out. And that actually video is done pretty decent for me. And then as far as your other questions, like what factors determine the locations and permanent buckles, I like QD just because QD works. I can take it on and off. I can move it to other pistols, rifles, whatever. And as far as the location, I do go over that video, but part of it's going to depend on the rail and the platform. But generally speaking, if I'm going to do more marksmanship type stuff, I'll have it further out because it's easier for me to use it as a hasty sling. For general kind of, run and gun type stuff, I'll have them a little bit closer together just because it kind of gives me a little bit more movement. I don't really use single point slings anymore. I either use a 2-point sling in the close configuration so it acts like a loop, or I'll use it in, the traditional 2-point, and that works for me. And I kind of go over that in that video. So good question there. What method do you prefer to clean the awful sand and mud after a nasty training class? So here's what I have done. Like I was at a match, I want to say it was in Missouri, and it was like nothing but rain, and the sand was like a clay, and this clay got everywhere. And then here's the fun part, and this is when I maybe was a little heavier and not so coordinated. I took, it was after the stage, and thankfully it was towards the end of the match, but I'm walking, I'm carrying my stuff, and I slip. And I take a face plant with my shotgun and my rifle that I'm carrying muzzle up. So now they're covered with all sorts of stuff. Now, thankfully, the dust cover was closed, and I was able to, it didn't affect the operation, but like the guns were just filthy, covered with clay. And literally what I did is I got home, I took it apart to major components, detail stripped it, and I literally took it in the laundry bin, and I just used hot water and Dawn dish soap, and I scrubbed and got rid of all that clay. And then I threw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. And then I used a water displacing fluid. You can use WD-40. That's what WD stands for, is water displacement. Otherwise, I used a light synthetic oil to basically displace all of that water, and cleaned it up and did that. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And I've had the same thing with Glocks as well. Like I've had cops who get in the mud and the dirt and everything like that, and we have like a big old muddy Glock, and sometimes you just got to take it with some dish soap and hot soapy water and do it there. So yeah, good question. Good question. Sometimes it's not that big of a deal. Now, the joke of like the dishwasher, I don't agree with, but all right, what else we got? Chambering twice. Yeah, we've talked about that before. Salts. Man, I'm trying to see if there's any other questions that got emailed in. And somebody's in my driveway. I don't even know who it is, but I don't know. I hope it's a package or something cool. This is the joys of doing it live, right, dudes? Is that you never know. You never know who's going to show up. Oh, it's my wife's delivery. So there we go. All right. Getting back to comments. Where are we at? It's a pistol. I'll have to check it out. Oh, Jerry. Jerry left a comment to the install video. Is that me, Jerry? I can't. So it doesn't show links on my end when I'm live, but I'm really curious. That was a while ago. Good times. It's a low bore axis Archon type pistol. I'd be interested to check it out. And same thing with like the Alien. I have not shot an Alien much other than at a range day, or the Oracle. Like I'm supposed to get an Oracle to check out. Other pistols that I'm supposed to check out. Okay, get this. Daniel Defense, SHOT Show breaking news. Daniel Defense brings back the H9. Yes. The H9. Remember the old Hudson H9 single? I'm pretty sure the original H9 was a single stack. And it had like this huge dust cover and everything. But they're bringing back the H9. Now, I want to check one out. I'm not going to dismiss it. Do I think it's going to be a challenge for any manufacturer to come out with a new double-stacked 9mm pistol? Absolutely. Now, what's cool about the H9 is the ergonomics did feel pretty good. It's a 15-round magazine. It's supposed to have a really cool recoil system, but they improved the dust cover so it's not like ridiculously low, so you add a light and now you have this huge thing. Like they made it more normal looking, but yet with a low bore access and a recoil management system that supposedly they shoot really good. I want to check one out. I'm going to be open-minded. It's optic ready, so it has all the stuff that we're needing for a pistol released in 2024. So we'll see what happens, right? I'm going to hopefully check one out, and I think it'll be cool. Other stuff that I saw, what other stuff? There were some new shotguns that look good. PSA has a pump hybrid. The agency shotguns that are Turkish shotguns that they work over, I got to admit, they felt really, really good. So, and I'm skeptical of Turkish shotguns. I met somebody from Orthos at SHOT Show, and they want to send me a shotgun to check out. And again, I'm skeptical of Turkish shotguns, so I'm going to be not going to be nice. Like if it's a pile, you're going to hear about it, but I'm going to shoot a bunch of ammo through it, and they're saying that the quality's there. Like these aren't your grandpa's Turkish shotguns. So we'll definitely see. I did order a Voodoo, so I got a new Voodoo 5-inch coming. I'm going to order a Stealth with the new bull barrel and all that just to kind of compare. What else did I order? I don't know. Scopes. There was a lot of really good scopes there. Magpul teamed up with, I can't remember what the company name was, but in the Magpul booth, there was like this overlay thing that goes in front of your LPVO. Super cool. Top Gun technology. Like, it would tell you if you're canted, it would tell you your holds, and it looked really, really good. And not going to be cheap. I think that little module is like $4,000, but that was really cool to see. The other cool stuff, Collis, I got to see their new 1-8 Gen 2. That thing looked sick. I'm going to order one of those. Collis had their 3-28. Looks sick. Always cool to fondle the good stuff from like ZCO, Night Force, Vortex, all that kind of stuff. Trying to think what else, what else did I really see that was cool? All right, you guys have to help me out in the comments because I am literally drawing a blank. So I'm going to double check my content here because generally if I saw something that was cool, I tried to make a short video on it if I could. 511 had some good clothing. They always do. Nighthawk came out with a 5-inch version of the Delegate, which they're calling the Envoy, which that was a good looking pistol. I mean, you know, they're Nighthawk, so they're not going to be cheap, but it was a good looking pistol nonetheless. Midwest had some new stuff for the lever action, which again, speaking of lever actions, if we could get that Henry with an M-Lock handguard and a cooler stock and then like a more durable finish, even if it's Cerakote, but that would be like, could be the ultimate trunk gun because you could travel with it, right? It's legal in 50 states. And if you put a suppressor on it in 300, it would be quiet and all that stuff. Oh my gosh, that UW1 just reminded me of another thing that I'm going to get to here. Now, for the 320 fans out there, Brower Solutions does have their metal grip out now. So if you're looking to spend a lot of money trying to make your 320 a 1911 or 2011, you can do it. But just keep in mind, maybe you just want to get the 2011 or sorry, not sorry. All right. 511, talked about them with their Apex pants. I love Apex pants, and now they have some soft ones coming out. I can't wait to get those. Okay, one of the weirdest things I saw was from Carbon Research, and it is the carbon fiber suppressor. They don't really have a bunch of names, and they don't really have a whole lot of marketing info out, but the sleeve and baffles are made out of carbon fiber. The ends are made out of titanium, and the insert of the baffle is made out of titanium. Supposedly, they're super quiet, and they insulate heat really well. So, like, okay, I'm interested, right? And I think for a 22 can, no big deal. But for a centerfire can, I don't know. I'm really interested. Other cool suppressor that I really want to get is the Dead Air Lazarus. That one has a lot going on where you can add the Boreas, which is like their self-regulating flow-through end cap where you can adjust how much flow. Huxworks, love Huxworks stuff. I'm going to order a couple of Huxworks cans to get that I think will be really cool. They have a new Ventum 556, so I can use all my chemo or hub-compatible muzzle devices, that kind of thing, because it's a hub-compatible mount, I should say, so I can use all my current muzzle devices. And then I'm also going to order a Flow 556 for a demo gun. On the Rainier side, we push those a lot, so it just makes sense for me to have one. Other suppressors, I know Silencer Co., I think it was, that came out with a Flow suppressor as well. And here's the deal. Like, if you're a suppressor company out there right now, if you're not coming out with flow-through technology or high flow or reduced gas back pressure, you're probably going to start to fall behind. So I think that's going to be a big part of it. All right, other stuff that I saw at SHOT Show. And if you guys are cool, we're still tracking on some viewers and we got a bunch of likes. So unless you tell me to like stop talking, I'm going to keep going. Oh, the Wooks. I do love Wooks stuff. I have a knife I've been playing. I think I'm allowed to show knives. Maybe not. I don't know what the rules are, but I do love their stuff. So they have a new stock coming out called the Superleggera. Okay, who has seen, and I'm not on TikTok that much, but you know that lady, and she ain't bad looking. She like goes in the cars and she's like, Mercedes. And she like touches everything like, what's it called? AMR, ASMR, AMSR, whatever. It's where you like do the Mercedes. Anyways, I tried to do like my quick impression with Superleggera because that's what I think of. But that stock looked really good. Synthetic, I'm going to probably build up a little 22 critter getter with something like that because I think it looks pretty sweet. So that would be kind of cool to check out. Always love the stuff from Wooks. Kimber updated their KDS9 with a rail finally, so you can add a light and you can kind of make it a little bit more tricked out. Kimber has some new stuff in the works they were telling me about. I can't talk about it yet. You can probably do the math and figure out what the future might hold, but it looked pretty good, and I'm looking forward to having a video on some of their stuff too. All right, what about the AK fans? I don't know a ton about AKs, I will admit. I'd love to learn more. But Riley Defense is coming out with a Krinkov, which is like their short SBR type guns. And they were really popular, I guess, in like the Russian special forces. And it was really cool to see what they're doing, like with their forged components and their quality. And they're going to be available in 545, 762, and 223. So it's yeah, I think that's going to be really cool for the AK fans, and I'm hoping to get one. Like, I think that's just a really cool looking gun. Like, I do respect the AK, right? They're cool. I have an AK-74 that's, you know, currently my range gun, but I think a Krinkov would be kind of cool to have. Watchtower updated their Apache. Now, what I do want to talk about is Holosun. They came out with some really cool stuff. You guys know that I really like the EPS stuff, which I do have to put out that video. But they also came out with a new enclosed, oh shoot, what is it called? The SCS, oh dang it, oh shoot. Okay, basically what they did was they came out with the SCS 320, which is a Delta Point Pro enclosed self-charging sight. They came out with a smaller version. But I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. But it's super cool, like for carry guns and everything like that, where you're looking for like not having to worry about batteries and all of that. I think the new Holosun red dot sight is going to be pretty slick. And honestly, their 320, I have it on one of my staccatos. That thing's been awesome. I'm going to put out a video on that eventually here too. The other cool stuff is their Iris and their Raid light. They basically come out with their own high candela rifle light, as well as the Iris, which is a civilian legal Vexel laser with an adjustable illuminator beam that under $1,000, like, and it's small too. Like it looks pretty cool. Now, here's the deal. What does it look like in night, right? Yes, it's a Vexel laser, but how bright really is the illuminator? The only thing that I saw was from somebody who brought their PVS 14 into SHOT Show during the day and had a pinhole and you could see it. But, you know, and obviously these aren't full production models, but I would love to have seen one at night. And I don't know if they even had one at the night range event, but if it, like, everyone's wondering, okay, let's just put the elephant out there. Everyone is wondering, how does it compare to a MAWL? Because right now, arguably for civilian night vision devices, the MAWL for performance is the gold standard. And yes, I agree with you that the EOTech OGL civilian version was disappointing. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to play with it. Like, are they actually out yet? I know they announced them at SHOT, like, yes, we're coming out with a civilian version. So we'll see. There's also the Z-Bolt. Z-Bolt that, oh my gosh, the comments now are getting a little out of hand. This is a PG show, guys. This is PG, okay? But anyways, the Z-Bolt, the Iris, and then the MAWL, they're all Vexel. And then the OGL as well. So it'd be kind of cool to see what comes out. Now, I do have a connection with Holosun. I'm going to try to get one to check out. And I'm fortunate that I have an IR 4K camera. So I'm going to check those out and see how it goes. But I'm really optimistic. I'm really, really optimistic. Yes. And she's more than okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Did I get to see the auto scope switch? No. Now, I heard about it. Okay. This is just my opinion. I don't know, and I'm trying to be open-minded, okay? And people may disagree with me, and that's all right. But I don't know if I would add that for me, because number one, we're adding weight. Number two, we're adding another battery to have to charge and things like that. So I don't know. Okay, and I was talking to Roger from QVO Tactical. Super good dude. I respect him. He's got great experience, and he's very successful, and he's a smart guy. So I always love chatting with him. And he did tell me some use scenarios where, let's just say a law enforcement marksman was on Overwatch and they had their 1 to 8 or whatever, and they needed a quick zoom in, zoom out without having to take their hands off the tripod, all that. Cool. Okay. Yeah, legit. I can see that use. So that might be good for them. Now, for me, my experience, when I used to shoot 3-gun with an LPVO, usually it was, oh my gosh, no. I'm going to delete these comments, you guys. But when I would go from stage to stage, I would have time to use the throw lever to transition from 1x to 2x or 1x to 6x or whatever. Because the question was, on an LPVO, have you ever used it between 1 and max, whether that's 6 or 8 or whatever? And me personally, I have. Like, there's been times even on the road when I was on a call and I would run my 1-4 at like that 2 to 2.5, just to kind of give me a little bit extra. Whereas with that electronic, it looked like it moved pretty quick. I don't know if it's like a rheostat where it's sensitive or not, but they're definitely, look, if it works as a solution for you, I think it's really cool. Okay. I am just trying to think of like, not everything has to be for everybody, but I don't know if I would add the extra weight and the extra expense and stuff. Now with the original antimatter, somebody said that they had issues with like the cords getting tangled or binding up as far as the slider one. I don't know. I've never used that one either. But again, I do think the innovation is kind of cool how they're doing that. Like, I think it is kind of cool to keep your hands on controls and just be like, boom, boom, and you can kind of do that. So I do see it. Now, what would be really cool, this is my dream, if they can do it with camera lenses, that someday that technology is going to integrate internally into a scope. There's going to be a motorized zoom ring, and then you're going to have your pigtail and a lead to where you can control that. That is where it's going. So like I should patent this today. UW1, I need a sponsor. Okay. We need to patent that technology, a scope with an internal zoom motor. That's what we need to patent, but that's where it's going to end up. And if they come out with a really cool LPVO partnership, like obviously we have the big names that would have that motor built in where it has like a battery for the motor, a battery for the illumination. Oh man. Now you got me thinking. I got to trademark this is what I got to do. All right. Now we're getting into my choice of undergarments. And you have to subscribe to my OnlyMans to learn more about that. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. So if you want me to go there, that's on the OnlyMans account. So, all right. You guys, I'm telling you. All right. BCM is great. BCM, Rainier, Midwest, those are all really good BCGs. I could tell you some stories about the, I could tell, oh man, Mercon to do it. Oh, too soon. I could tell you some stories about BCGs. Now, there is a few machine shops that manufacture various quality bolt carrier groups. And ironically, some of them are in Minnesota. So there are, how do I say this? There are some bolt carrier groups that have a really, really good reputation that are made in the exact same place of other ones that don't have as good of a reputation. And true story, I'm not going to name names here, but I was talking to one of my industry contacts. They were a former connection. I'll leave it at that. And he was complaining because his brand, Bolt Carrier Group, okay, they all got them from the same place. And at the time, they had one laser machine, and they would do laser logo A, put them in box A. They would laser logo B, put them in box B. And everybody thought Bolt Carrier Group A was like the absolute, oh, this is so awesome. And it was literally the exact same thing with a different logo lasered on it in the same place and split up. And they couldn't sell Bolt Carrier, like Bolt Carrier Group B did not sell as A because A had a bunch more marketing, but it was literally the exact same thing. Now, I'm not saying which, because I don't want to like ruffle feathers or anything like that, but do some homework. Just get a quality Bolt Carrier Group from a reputable company and you're going to be just fine. So that's all I feel comfortable saying right now. Even though there's only 30 people watching this, I don't want to piss somebody off. Like the one time I reveal some industry secret as far as like an OEM partnership, then that's the time I'm going to get yelled at and somebody's going to bring up something that I was supposed to have signed. So, all right. We've been going for like an hour and a half, and I could do this all day because I love talking about everything. Okay. Did I get through my whole SHOT Show list? And who's still watching? Because we have stuff to give away too, guys. We have stuff to give away. Huxworks, Agency. We got this Staccato. Oh, one pistol that I am really, really interested to check out. Military Arms Corps. They're imported by TSIS. Now, again, I'm not a huge import guy. Like, I'm very fortunate that I have nice things and nice toys, or the opportunity to test and evaluate stuff. So I'm very blessed in that regard. And I don't take that for granted. But they have a double stack coming out that they're calling the 1911-9DS. And if you look at it, some people are going to say it looks very Staccato-like. And I can't dispute, like, it is, there's a striking similarity. Okay, just call it what it is. There is a similarity from the grip profile to the serrations. There is a similarity, but they're saying no MIM parts, and they're going to retail for like 11. I want to say, optic ready. If those things shoot, I think that could be a winner, and I think it could really kind of poke a hole in the Prodigy market. And again, a lot of people are like, you're so biased. Dude, I'm not biased, but when Staccato makes a good gun and they've established a standard, Springfield came in and they wanted to try to get into that entry-level market and take a little bit of chunk out. And kudos to them. The market needs good, better, best, and different budgets, okay? We need that. Competition is good for us, the purchaser, okay? Competition is a good thing. But when Springfield, I get my first gun, and it was a retail gun, so it wasn't a cherry-picked influencer gun, but I get a retail gun, and the thing is a turd, and then they reach out, and they're like, hey, we want you to try it again, and they send me a media sample, and that one wouldn't run. It's tough for me to be excited about it, and I'm not being biased. Like, it's if a gun doesn't run, it's really tough, and I have the videos to prove it. Like, I'm not a photographer where I could put anything on a thing and make it look pretty. Like, I'm a video guy. It's got to run, right? So, all right, going off. Springfield, if you ever watch this, open-minded, man. If you want to give it another shot, I'm going to give you a fair shake. I promise you that. So, promise you that. All right, it's all in the name. The Rambo's Tactical Destruction, Inc. will sell anything better than Joe's Machine and Screw. You know, you say that, and you're not wrong. However, there's a little company called Lewis Machine and Tool that makes some pretty badass beep stuff. So, but yeah, you're definitely right. Okay, where are we at on comments? We're all caught up on comments. We've already given away some stuff. Okay, speaking of, though, Red Wrath. Did I lose your card? You might have lost it. So let me check here. Yep, I lost it. Okay, did anyone see where I set that? I swear. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I already gave away one card for Red Wrath, which is great. And then we're going to give away some gel cups. So let's give away some gel cups from Noise Fighters. These are great. Okay, here's what I need you to do. This one's going to be for just you watching right now. So the 30 plus of you that are watching, if you want a set of these, go ahead and make a comment, and I'll let it go for a few seconds, and then we'll do a random draw from you guys. But just go ahead and put gel cups in the comment section. Gel cups. No abbreviations, gel cups, and then we'll pick a random winner. But here's the deal. If I send these out to you, you have to use them, and you have to tag Noise Fighters on a post on social media. If you don't have social media, that's fine, but at least give them a call. But these are awesome. If you have a set of over-the-ear ear pro that you're actually going to use, go ahead and comment gel cups, and we'll pick a random winner here for these gel cups. But these are awesome. I have them on all my ear pro, even my side-by-side ear pro. I got a set of Cardos, and it basically is like, they're kind of like shooting ear pro, except for it's not as noise reduction, and it has a little microphone, and then it has near field. I don't know if it uses a generation of Bluetooth or some sort of radio type thing, but you can talk car to car or person to person, and you can sync it to your phone. So that way I can listen to my music. My boy can listen to his music, or Trevor, I think you were in here. You were listening to your podcast, but yet then when we start talking, it talks. So I even put them in those. So it's pretty cool. So, all right, we'll let it go for another second or so, and then we got some comments. So appreciate that. Look at this. See, this is how I do it. Oh, what if? Oh my gosh, I could totally get capitalistic here. What if I sold extra entries for super chats? Man, I feel like that's shady, because then the one person might win, and that's shady. So nope, don't do it. Don't do it. We're gonna pick a winner here in just a second. Okay, Forest Rider. You can't enter twice. Okay, yeah, Forest Rider. You are in here. Like, look, you did gel cups, you did gi cups, you did gel cups. Forest Rider, I love you, man, but dude, one entry, one. All right, Red Wrath. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, we got everybody. All right, we're gonna give it a second. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. Okay, I think I see a pause. Everybody who is entered. So we have, I don't know how many. And then we got to start at the beginning here. So we'll start here. Oh, it went too far. Big Jimpin. Send me an email to the QA at Guns and Tactics, and we'll get these gel cups out for you. Big I'm just going to write your name on here. Big Jimpin'. Big Jimpin' and spending cheese. Who remembers that song? All right. Who wants a, let's see. Sean, hang on, before I give away stuff, Sean, did you need a Safari Land? Did you and Thomas need a Safari Land one? Because I want to save one for you dudes. The rules keep changing. Yeah. All right, here we go. So, all right, who else? Does anyone want a Geisley 35% off coupon from the SHOT Show? Geisley 35% off coupon. Go ahead and leave a comment below. We'll have another little contest. Big Jimpin', you got to send me an email with your addresses and whatnot, and I'll email this out. And then Red Wraith, I got to send you a picture of your card. And then I got to give a shout out. Okay, Sean, I'll send you one as well. This is for you guys at the office, so like max it up. Okay, got to give a huge shout out to my main sponsor. I've probably ignored them for too much. Global Ordnance. If you guys are looking for high quality ammo at good pricing, fast shipping, they've got it all. They've got the brands that you know and love, but they also have imported ammo at a better price that's still high quality, whether it be their Sterling Steel, their Ingman, or their Bellum ammo. Like, that's what I've been shooting a lot of, from 115, 124, 147, plus they import 7.62 by 39. 223 is obviously a little tougher to get right now, but if they're going to get it, those are the people that are going to get it. It's Global Ordnance. And if you use code GTAMMO, that's GTAMMO, GTAMMO, you're going to save by getting free shipping on all orders over 200. So buy it by the case, and including Californians, get it by the case because they can ship it to you. And if you use my code, I will try to put a link on the website. I can't put a link directly, but once I get the show up, we'll have a link that'll take you to the website. That'll have a link. I know it's an extra step, but I got to keep doing that to keep me in compliance. But if you use code GTAMMO, you're going to get free shipping on all orders over 200 from my friends at Global Ordnance. I could not make content without them because they are supplying all my ammo, which is awesome. And I am going to do some content on some of their guns, but they're really good stuff, and it is pretty sweet. So huge thanks again to Global Ordnance. Love those guys. All right. Big Jimpin', it's the QA at gunsandtactics.com. Let me see if I can throw it up there. There you go. Big Jimpin', that's the email address. Go ahead and show that on there for you, and then send me your address. We'll get that out to you. And then we'll also pick a random comment out of the whole thing for our winner on the prize from Global Ordnance. So I'm giving away tons of stuff. It's always nice when I get back from SHOT and I have some extra swag to come across here. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Hey, Screamin' Tank, you commented. Shoot me an email, and this one's for you. So Screamin' Tank. Screamin' Tank, shoot me an email. I'll take a picture of your coupon code. I got one for you for Geisley. So good to go. All right. I think we got everybody. I think we got all sorts of stuff. We got Red Wrath. We got Sean. We got the gel cups. We got the Geisley. And anybody else need a Geisley? I got a couple extra. So did Screamin' Tanks got one, and then I thought there was one more comment. ResDog, did you need one? You made a Geisley comment. Does anybody else need one? I can hook somebody else up here. So hit me up in the comment section. All right, we got a couple questions, and then we'll probably wrap this up because we've been going on an hour and a half, and kind of go from there. If someone were looking to get into the 2011 market, where would you go? Staccato, one of the budget guns, Tisas, Prodigy, Gerson, etc., the Oracle, or the Platypus? Obviously, completely opinion. Well, it's a good question. Let me ask you this, Nicholas. No BS. Do you have a budget? Or do you have a goal budget? Like, would you rather spend this much on the gun, this much on the optic, and then have some money left over for ammo? Or would you want to look at something else? So think about that. Send me that. And then, is this going to be just a range toy, carry gun, etc.? And then, okay. ResDog, you need a Geisley? ResDog, email me. Got one for ResDog. And then I need one for Rusty Taylor, it looks like. Okay, all you guys have to email me with a screenshot of your username or whatever. I don't know. Rusty Taylor. All right, we're good. Got you guys hooked up. So Res Dog, Rusty Taylor, 35% off coupons from Geisley for you guys. And then we'll pick out our global ordinance winner here in a little bit too. So Nicholas, give me a little bit of info and then we'll talk about that. But while I wait for that budget info, I will say it's too early for me to say on the Thesis or the Mac because I don't have one and I haven't shot it yet. I do think that Mac, if that thing runs for 1100, that's going to be pretty awesome and pretty tough to beat, right? Let's just be honest. Staccato is great. Staccato is quality. You have a great warranty. You're purchasing American-made stuff. Like, you can't go wrong with a Staccato P. Like, it's just the F-150 of pistols. It does everything really well. And I mean that, and I don't want to get the Chevy versus Dodge crap. I'm just saying the Staccato P is a great pickup truck. You can take it to get groceries. You can take it to haul stuff. You can tow with it. You can go on a road trip with it. It does everything really well, but it doesn't do the best at anything. Like, it's not the best for towing a big, heavy, construction equipment. It doesn't get the most mileage for long road trips. It's not the most comfortable compared to a sedan, but a really nice pickup truck does everything really well, and that's exactly what the Staccato P does. So arguably, it's really tough to beat. Unlimited budget. Oh, man. If it's an unlimited budget, I would really look hard at the Voodoo Priests as well, because the quality that you're getting for that Voodoo Priest packs above its price point. But Staccato is obviously great. Platypus is great. I would have no problem ever recommending a Platypus. They are just good, like sample size of one, and then the people I've talked to who have them, they do a lot, and they bang way higher than their price point, and they shoot. Like, the Platypus is great, especially if you have Glock magazines. And what I also do like about the Platypus is because of the grip is a little bit smaller. If you take the magwell off, it's more like a officer-sized grip in a way, or more like 120 millimeter grip from the 1911 world. Pretty sweet. And if you got a commander, it would be a really good carry gun as well. So Platypus would be good, especially for that. Now, the Oracle, I have not shot one long term. So the first ones I shot, they felt a little rough. I shot them again at TriggerCon, and they felt way better. But I have not seen a production gun in my hand, so I'm just withholding judgment until I can get some firsthand experience. But ergonomically, they felt pretty good. So I think there's some potential, but I want to shoot one and get more firsthand experience. So between Staccato, a Platypus, and a Voodoo, if the budget, those are probably some of the ones I would look at. Those are like my main go-to. Now, here's the deal. Somebody brings up a good point. Wish they would call it anything besides a Platypus. Okay, I don't disagree with you, but here's the deal. Anybody in the gun space who's heard of the Platypus knows exactly what it is. So as far as a marketing thing, yeah, got to give it to them, right? Everybody knows what the Platypus is. Oh my gosh. And I got to show you, I thought their SHOT Show patch was baller. Okay. If you know, you know, but check this out. Speaking of marketing, focus. Oh my gosh. So I thought that was pretty cool. Good old Platypus. Marketing wise, it's actually pretty good. Wilson, I don't know. It's been a while since I've shot a Wilson, and I think that I don't know if they've updated anything, but I think there's other options that maybe offer a little bit more for the money currently. It's still very nice pistols, right? Atlas, yeah, man. If you've got Atlas money, well then that's a whole other conversation. But most people aren't going to want to drop $6,000 for their first pistol. So that's a whole other conversation. But speaking of Atlas, at SHOT Show, wow, I forgot to do that too. They came out with a new model called the Apollo as well as the EOS. And I got to be honest, like, they looked pretty cool. So I think that's going to be my first Atlas. I've played with some of the Atlases before, but I don't own one. And I think I'm going to try to order the Apollo. I think the full-size one is the Apollo. It's a ported gun. So we'll see. But here's the other thing that's tough for me to look at is that when I play with them, and I know where a lot of these people, are getting some of their major components, or I know how some things are machined. And I'm going to sound like a Voodoo fanboy, but when you compare a sub $3,500 Voodoo, and then you start to compare it to the high-end custom guns, the $6,000 guns, that Voodoo really holds its own, guys. I'm telling you. And I'm not the only one who has this opinion. Like Skip's Guns, he's talking really good things about it too. So there's definitely some things to kind of look at. Now, the reason why I speak more about the voodoo is because I've talked to the principals behind voodoo, and they've kind of given me that behind the curtains gun nerd conversation where we're actually talking about machining tolerances and all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate their passion and what they put in and the tight tolerances they hold wear versus oversized components that are then fit. Nothing wrong with that, right? That's how we've done it. My first 2011 period was a custom gun where everything was over sized and machined to fit. And that was made by a Minnesota gunsmith, a very, very reputable one, Paul Grundhauser. So my first gun into it was a custom gun, but not everybody's would be. So yeah, good options. But yes, you can get 2 platypus for the cost of a voodoo, and that's something to consider, right? So definitely quality gets expensive. So DWX, yeah, another great pistol. Like that was one that we left off the list, but here's the only thing holding the DWX back. They need to make it optic ready. And I wish I could show you mine. I had mine cut for an optic and I thought it turned out really well. However, it needs to have a factory optics cut. But as far as recoil, ergonomics, legit. Love the DWX. One of my favorite hybrid guns to come out. Like really one of my favorites. Because when that gun came out in 2019, when it was announced, I was like, I have to have one of these. I have to have one. And then it took me until 23 to actually get one. Let's see here. Looks Walther PDP. Here's the thing. Most people, let's be honest, most of us, it's us holding us back, right? Now, yes, you can get a little bit of performance on a higher performing gun, and I can probably shoot something better than a Glock, but the reality is most times it's us. But yes, anything can compete. Like if you gave, I don't know, let's just say you gave Rob Latham a bone stock XD. That guy's going to smoke all of us with whatever whiz-bang race pistol we have, right? So, yeah. And yes, I had the same question, Tangen. Would it be platypi or platypuses? I don't know. I can't remember what we came up with. Or a gaggle of platypuses, a platybagle? I don't know. Yeah, and then you have the pit vipers or sand vipers. I'm not going to lie. I don't own any of Terran's guns. I wouldn't mind checking one out, especially if I could get a T&E, kind of like a try before you buy it, and maybe do some media stuff. But again, once we start to get to that point where we're at like anything above $5,000, I'm at a point in my life where it really needs to blow my socks off to get me to invest in it, just because I know what's now available from quality companies like Voodoo, Masterpiece Arms, Platypus Staccato, all that kind of stuff. Now, some of those are production guns compared to semi-custom, and then we get to that custom level. You are getting that. And I am going to do a video on my Nighthawk. I have a custom Nighthawk that was close to like a 6K firearm, right? So we're going to talk about some of that, because if you want to invest in that, there are some pros, but there are some cons to investing in something like that, whether it's that high-end level, whether it be an Atlas, one of the high-end Viper guns, a Nighthawk. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, an Alchemy. Who else? Who else is making high-end stuff? Or you get a custom gun from like a Garcia or, any of the custom shops out there. They're going to be north of 5K, because there's some pros and cons to that. So we can talk about that in another video. That would probably be its own podcast in a way, like selecting a high-end gun. I don't know if anybody would watch that, but I would make it. I would talk about that. Maybe we have a guest on. Maybe I could try to get like a guest gunsmith on the channel to kind of talk about that. Or maybe like a guy like AJ Zito. He'd be a really cool dude to have on the show. We took a class, Dustin and I took a class from him September? I don't remember what it was. Super cool dude. Nothing but great things to say. That was actually the class where I shot some of the B-roll for the Platypus and the Voodoo. But it'd be really cool to have a guy like him on the show. I should text him and ask him. All right, we're coming up on 2 hours. This is arguably one of our longest podcasts ever, and we've given away a bunch of stuff. But now let's give away the big prize from Global Ordnance. But the dang overlay is not working. Well, Rutro, Global, I can't give you some love because the logo is not working. There we go. Global Ordnance, all of your ammunition needs. Use code GTAMMO for free shipping on all orders over 200. Global Ordnance supports the channel. Can't do it without them. Global Ordnance. Global Ordnance. Global Ordnance. Sorry. I'm getting tired. I need some more coffee. It's been one of those days. All right. No more comments. Oh, no, there is some comments. Yeah. Cabot. Oh boy. Don't start with that. Dustin. I have a story offline. I will tell you about that. All right. Yes. Dave is still talking. You remember when I talked live about the Glock Gen 5 release back in the day? Yeah. Anyways, you should take it. Actually, I'm going to try to take it. I think that's this month. I'm going to try to make a road trip. I'm going to try to talk. I don't know if Dustin's going to go with me or anybody, but I'm really considering making a road trip down there. And Dave can talk. Oh, yeah. I am the worst at that. So we're going to go and we're going to give away our prize. Let's wrap this up. Dave? Who knows that movie? Although if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see it, but I can't remember. It was a Jack Black movie and he made that motion. If you're watching the podcast, you would have seen it. But anyways, all right, here we go. Random comment. And this is probably arguably the most comments we've had. And again, huge shout out to Scott for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much for the support. And let's pick our random comment. If you've already won, let me put the rules up here quick. King Dingaling, where did your comment go? There it is. Apologies if this was the one that did it. King Dingaling, you are the winner. So King Dingaling, you need to send me an email as well with your shipping address, and we'll get you your prize from Global Ordnance. So again, send your questions to the QA at gunsandtactics.com, as well as those of you guys that need to send me for some of the other stuff that we've given away. So I do need Big Jimpin's address. I need some email addresses to send some photos. And then I also need King Dingaling, your address, and we'll get you your prize pack thanks to Global Ordnance. Everybody, that's going to do it. This was a great podcast. I love talking about SHOT Show and all sorts of stuff. And I love hanging out with you guys. This was a great way for me to spend my lunch. And I do appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, please email them to us, or you can participate in the live cast at the end of every month, give or take. We do this live, and I love interacting with you guys. And we keep growing this. We're going to start to give away some more prizes. So with that, I'm going to make my smile for my thumbnail. That looks good. I'll take a freeze frame of that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great day.